Hello, beautiful people. This is Miss B, the goddess of empathy. The name is for you. The title is for me. You can just call me Miss B. And I am here today to do a review or a maybe an empathetic perspective or spiritual perspective on the new Color Purple remake movie. And so I went to see the movie. Well, first I watched the original just to kind of, jog my memory, although everyone knows the story of The Color Purple. I watched the original, and then I went to see the the remake on Christmas Day with my sister. And I just jotted some notes down, and these are some of the things that kind of came to me. And I would love for your feedback on what I came up with. So the movie starts out talking about the mysteries of God, the mysteries of God. And there's things that happen in the world and happen in nature and that happen in life where we don't quite understand. So the movie is about or sets the beginning theme around some mysteries of God. And there are many, many, many mysteries of God. So that's basically where it starts. So it goes on to time travel. When I say time travel, the the character of Celie. Actually, the movie she's traveling through time. It takes through her lifespan from her as a child with her sister, or through until she is an older woman. So it's a time travel movie, and it's important to note that at the beginning of time, when she was very young, and when her mother was alive, her mother taught her how to sew. Her mother taught her how to sew after her mother noticed a gift in her. So she had the gift of sewing and making and creating. However, her mother recognized that and cultivated that gift in her. And throughout her life, Celie continued to use that gift. She continued to sew throughout the good times in her life, the bad times in her life, the challenges. She continued to, she sewed, one of the first things she sewed was just embroidery because she sewed her daughter's name on her diapers. She would embroider. And then she would sew dresses for her sister. As she got older, she sewed clothes for her stepchildren. So she always used her gift. Very important. And as the more you use your gift, the more you exercise it, the stronger and the stronger it becomes. So everybody knows the story of the color purple, or they should know. Um, one of the characters is Harpo. Harpo is Mr. Sun, and Harpo meets Sophia. And Sophia and Harpo are in that young, exciting love. And sometimes when there is a lot of love, there is a lot of passion. And sometimes when there's a lot of passion, there's a lot of combustion and it can explode. And when you're learning through love, you have to learn how to learn each other's energies and each other's rhythm. So for Harpo and Sophia, they would fight. They would fight. They would physically fight. They would have power dynamics and fight, but they would always come back together with love. Even though this happened, they didn't understand what that was going on. They knew they were in love and they loved each other. However, when Harpo didn't know how to work with Sophia, he got unwise counsel from his father. And why I say unwise counsel, because, we go to our siblings, to our family members, and we think they want to give the best of us, give us good advice. However, they can't give us what they don't know. So Harpo was very bitter. He was very bitter regarding his love life. So here he has this young son. This is just my opinion, my empathetic perspective. So he has this young son, and this young son is in love. And at the same time, he's in love. Their love that he's telling his father about is very tumultuous. And his father was against um, Sophia and Harpo. So we go to the next scene where they introduce Silk Avery, played by the wonderful, beautiful, multiple talented Taraji P. Henson. Now, how do they enter? How do they enter this character? of Shug Avery, played by her, with a murder of crows. So crows are blackbirds, beautiful blackbirds, and they rock together. Crows, when they're together, it's at least 50 of them. Crows are very smart birds. They have a good memory. They remember everything. They communicate with with humans in their own way. Crows are very intelligent animals, and they roll together, and they're very strong, and they look out for each other from high. Like they can tell that there's prey or if there's food or if there's threats at the bottom because they roll together. They roll in bunches. So that's the crow, and that's how the character of Shug Avery is introduced. Is that a murder of crows comes on the scene for Shug Avery? Beautiful, beautiful, smart animal that sometimes gets a bad rap. But all animals and all people have a purpose and to give. So now I started thinking about the character of Shiv Avery. Like I said, I watched the original Color Purple before this one, and I listened to the song that she sang in a juke joint. And I'm of a certain age, so I have the characters, not the characters, the captions of the movie on the bottom. So the captions were repeating the lyrics from the song that Shiv was singing at the juke joint. And this was my first time understanding and seeing the lyrics of the song from the juke joint. If you get a chance to watch The Color Purple, the original, if you go back and watch that scene from the juke joint, her, when she sings that song, and if you put the captions on or pay attention, that's a nasty song. I knew it was. I knew the theatrics of it showed that it was a very erotic song, but that song is very erotic. She talks about we're all adults here having sex with the mother, the brother, the sister, your mama too. It just goes in, and I've never realized that all the times that I watched the original Color Purple. So now we transfer to this remake of this Color Purple. And we have the character of Shug Avery, played by Taraji, as this very powerful, when I say powerful, she's unapologetic woman. She marks she marches to the beat of her own drum. She does what she want to do. She drinks, she sings, she travels. She loves the finer things in life, and she lives the life that she wants to do. So, so now it's Shug, and Shug is in the house and visiting with Harpo and Celie. And so Celie and Shug are starting to bond. And they're walking throughout the property, the land that is owned by Mr. And they're walking through and they're bonding, Celie and Shug, and they're talking about God. And they're talking about the power of God. And Shug says to Celie, everything and everybody wants to be loved. Even God wants to be loved. And then that's when she talks about the color purple and how God gets upset when you just walk past the color purple. And then Celie says, so you saying God is vain? No, it's not saying God is vain. Everything and everybody wants to be loved. So to me, that was a reality that they are feeding to us through the movies, through the understanding of it. So now, again, go to the next scene or one of the next scenes. And Shiv does, or Taraji does her theme song, Push the Button, which is the equivalent to the song that she did in the original Color Purple. This one was Push the Button. And in the song that Taraji sang, which Taraji really sang, I was so surprised because Taraji can sing. And we forget sometimes that actors and actresses, they are trained in theater as little kids. So Taraji can really sing. And Taraji could sing. And I was pleasantly surprised. So one of the lines in the Push the Button song that the character of Shug was singing, played by Taraji, was reach down and find your inner Shug. Reach down and find your inner Shug. One thing about this movie that I got out of it was that um, the marquee, you have three characters. You have the character of Celie, you have the character of Shug, and you have the character of Sophia. And these are three female archetypes. And one thing that stands out to me is that And I think what the color purple was trying to say is that there is an archetype, or there is a female type that the world kind of benefits from. And that female archetype is usually quiet, subdued, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, not very assertive, very agreeable, not having an opinion, not speaking much. However, the character of Shug, to me, she represents a dark feminine energy. And it's important. Dark feminine energy is not bad. Good feminine energy or positive feminine energy or light feminine energy is not perfect. The thing is, when we get into problems, is when there is an imbalance. When there is an imbalance of positive, then you're not learning from the negative. And when there is an overbalance or overabundance of negative, you can miss out on certain things as well. So it's important that we have a balance. And to me, the archetype of Shug Avery represented a dark feminine energy. So that's what she was singing in her song, Reach Down and Find Your Inner Shug. And so moving on to one of the next scenes. Okay, so now Seeley finally finds the courage to leave Harpo. And she's going to leave Harpo. And she's leaving with Shug Avery. One of the things that stands out to me, she leaves and she gets in the car. Pardon me. And Harpo chases her out. He says, "You'll be back. You'll be back." And I immediately had a flashback, personal flashback, going off scene here. But I had a flashback of me being in relationships, romantic relationships, and swearing I was done. And the person I was with said, "Oh, you'll be back. You'll be back." And I came back. And there were some times that I didn't come back, but most of the time I came back. And with everything that um that Mr. Hood shook through, how could she go back? He separated her from her sister. He was abusive to her. He was mean to her. He didn't appreciate her. He used and abused her body. And yet, we as women experience those same things and we go back. And I think about all the times that I went back when I had no business going back. The Bible talks about it's like a dog returning to its own vomit. So vomit is disgusting. Vomit is poison. Vomit, when we vomit, it's things that has to be expelled. It's usually a bacteria or a parasite or something that's in our body that our body has to expel and get it out. So sometimes as humans, we when we vomit, when we're sick, we vomit. We get in the shower, we brush our teeth, we have to clean ourselves up when we're sick. Dogs, because of their nature, dogs sometimes eat their vomit. I hate to be so disgusting, but it's just the truth. Dogs return to their vomit. So when we are released of things that are not good for us, do not return to it. Do not be like a dog that returns to its own vomit. Don't take my word for it. Just Google it. Google the Bible verse, and it'll kind of elaborate that on you. But that's one of the things where he's like, "You'll come back. You'll be back." And thank God she did not come back. So now again, we're going with the color purple, and we are back to some memories. Again, the mysteries of God. And Celie is remembering different parts of her life, and she's remembering her sister. She's a young adult now, or mid-adult, and she's remembering the mysteries of her sister. And as a child, as children, her and her sisters played together. They had fun together. Her sister was very protective of her. But one of the main things that I pointed out from watching this movie is that how her sister, her Nettie, helped Celie by teaching Celie everything that she learned. Pause. I'm going to say that again. Nettie taught her sister, Celie, everything that she learned. Because Nettie was allowed to go to school. Nettie was allowed to study. Celie was seen as the rag doll with the family, or her father just used and abused her body. So she kept having babies. You can't have babies and go to school, and babies and go to school. She was the domestic. Nettie, Celie took care of the home. Nettie went to school. Everything that Nettie learned regarding school, she taught her sister. And that's love. That's love. When you love someone, as you learn and as you grow, you teach them what you learn and what you have grown. And she's remembering her sister. She's remembering her sister and what her sister taught. And there was one point in the movie when their little girls, Nettie and Celie are little girls, and they hear rumors of Suge Avery. And Nettie is saying, describing Suge Avery, and she's trying to describe Suge without improperly influence her sister. And Nettie says that Celie is a loose woman, and Celie likes that. Celie says, "I want to be a loose woman," and her sister Nettie says, "No, you don't." So those are the things. When you love someone, you share with them. You share with them your knowledge. You share with them information for them to grow. So as you learn, you share. So that was one of the things that stood out to me, was that Betty shared her information and her knowledge with her sister. So I'm not sure where we are with the timing. I don't see a clock, but this is Miss B, the goddess of empathy. The names for you, the titles from me, and we are just walking through the color purple, the remake of the color purple. So now, okay. So now, Celie has gotten a hold of her letters written by her sister Nettie, who's in Africa. And she's reading them, and she's telling her sister Celie about the connections and the excerpts that pardon me, her experiences in Africa. And she talks about the beauty of Africa. And she says it was like black meeting black for the first time. Like black meeting black for the first time. And I'm going to go back a little bit. Remember when I said how Nettie taught her sister Celie everything? Wherever Nettie was in school, they were teaching them about Africa. So Nettie was teaching Celie about Africa when they were younger. So now she's recapping again, telling her about Africa and the beauty of Africa. And she said it was like black meeting black for the first time. And when they were younger, Nettie said to Celie, "We are royalty. We're from Africa. We are royalty." So now, fast forwarded when she's reading the letters, and when Celie's reading the letters, she says, "We are not just royalty. We are the center of the universe. We are the center of the universe. Black meeting black for the first time. We are the center of the universe." So the black that's in America going to the black that's in Africa. And that those two merging, and with those merging, with that emergence of those things, and it's like black meeting black for the first time. I tell you, it's a powerful, powerful, powerful music, powerful movie. Art is very transformative. Storytelling is transformative. Movies, music, painting, drawing, hip hop, all these things are healing. So art is informative, and that's why they're telling us this, guys. They're telling us. They are telling us we are the center of the universe. Some of us already know. Some of us already know, and some of us already knew. Sometimes we forgot. But when the black that we were born into attaches to the black that we meet, the African roots, we realize we are the center of the universe. So this art form came together just to tell us that. So now we're going to fast forward to another scene because it's a movie and it's fast. And we are back to Sophia. Now, Sophia is Uncle's wife. As we talked about earlier, they were having some love challenges. Now, Sophia's character, she is a woman who is assertive and stands up for herself. She don't have any problem with throwing hands. Kind of reminds me of myself. Don't have any hands. And so Sophia is in jail for standing up for herself. And she is in jail. Sophia is in jail. And Celie comes to see her. Celie comes to see her regularly. And so now, after Celie comes to see her, she's only allowed to stay a few minutes, even though she just got there. And then Celie is told to leave by the CO. So whatever, the sheriff, which is a CO, present day CO. When Celie leaves, that's when she gets so, it's like a light bulb opens up. It's like a fire, a spark is ignited because now everything is kind of cumulative. She's thinking about the marriage that she's stuck in, the abuse that she's faced, being separated from her sister, her children being stolen. Here, her friend Sophia is standing up for herself and is the opposite of her, and she still faces injustice. So Celie is remembering all these things, and because of what happened to Sophia and her not being able to comfort Sophia like she really wanted to during this time, it kind of ignites a spark in Celie to start standing up for herself. And then that's when Celie sings the song that Sophia originally sang. That's when Sophia sings. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. So now fast forward and let's see. Hmm. Yeah, so she said that's when Celie started singing. Hell no. She started singing it. So fast forward again, because we're in a movie and we're fast forwarding through scenes. Everybody knows the story of the color purple. Celie finally decides really leave. Get up and leave. And everyone knows the dinner scene. And again, going back to Harpo saying, "You'll be back, you'll be back." And she's trying to ignore him. She's saying, "You'll be back, you'll be back." And don't be that dog that returns to his own vomit. And then Mr. goes on to insulting and just insulting and insulting and saying mean and horrible things about Celie, about his wife that he married. And he goes to strike her because he's always striking. He goes to strike her. He lifts his hand. And she says, Celie says, and believes it, until you do, until you do right by me, everything you have is going to crumble. Until you do right by me, everything you have is going to fail. Now, in the original, which I watched, Whoopi Goldberg said, "I curse you." And then she said, "Until you do right by me, everything you have is going to fail." You do not have to say the words, "I curse you," in order for it to be a curse. Speaking, speaking has power. And when you solidify it, it becomes that curse. Our words can become curses or our words can become blessings. Now, which do you want to do? Do you want to curse people? Do you want to bless people? Or do you want to do both? Sometimes both is needed. However, she said, until you do right by me, everything you have is going to crumble and it's going to, and everything you have done to me already has been done to you. And that's Lauryn Hill repeated that same lyric in her song. Swans, whoop a bum bum. Everything you did has already been done. Shout out to Lauryn. So that words are very powerful, and she believed it. And she finally stood up for herself. She stood up for herself in the natural by getting away, and she stood up for herself in the spiritual by putting that curse and that X on it. and both very, very powerful. One is not better or is not worse than the other. Again, it's about. And so, just like Seeley had said and put in the curse and promised, everything you do is going to crumble. And as a result, Mr. liked to drink, but now his drinking got worse. He became more heavily a drunkard. He became a drunkard. His land was no longer fertile. He had no crops. He had to burn his crops. Without the crops, he had no money, no land. No money, no crops, no land, no money. His pockets were done. He was in financial strait. Even though he still had the land wasn't fertile, so he couldn't make money from the land. So he lost everything financially and he lost everything spiritually. Mr. had no sense of self and he was very, very, very miserable. Very, very miserable. And so that happens. Flash to the next scene. In the next scene, Sue and Celie are with are together and was let me rephrase that. Celie went to go live with Suge in Tennessee. I think that's where it's from, Tennessee. And Celie gets a phone call. During this phone call, she has to come back home because her father has passed. Her father has died. And at the funeral, she meets with her stepmother, and her stepmother tells her that the land is hers, the store is hers, because her father left that to her. Now, Celia assumed that his wife would get everything because through marriage, that's a contract. The father is dead, the husband is dead, so the wife would get everything. It's not his to give, at least not back in those times when most were different. The land and store actually belonged to Celie's real biological father, which she didn't know that she had a biological father that left her those things. So it's kind of everything hits her at once. She's remembering the love of her mother, who has passed on and had died. She's remembering that love. She's remembering or acknowledging or realizing, shall I say, the love of her father that she never met and who had made these provisions for her that she never knew she had. So she had love and she didn't know that she had. So she says, Dear God, dear God. And she didn't know she had all this love and she didn't know she had the love of a father and the inheritance of a father. Who does that make y'all think about? Who loves you enough that they give you an inheritance? Oof, I'm not no preacher, but that's she didn't know. But now she had that understanding and that all these things were available to her. She just had to step in. She had to get rid of that junk. She had to get rid of that dysfunction so that she could see it and that she could understand it and that she could go from it. And so she had this love that she didn't know she had. She had this protection that she didn't know she had. She had this favor that she didn't know that she had. She had the love that she didn't know she had it. And I want to take time to say that at times, we might think or believe that we have no one in our dark times in life and in our rough times. Sometimes we may feel we may be alone. We may not have the support of our family or our loved ones. But there are people that know you, and they might not be physically with you. They may be on another realm. They may be your ancestor. They may be your neighbor. They may be someone that you met many years ago, a friend, but they love you and they have things stored up for you and they pray for you. Many years ago, I was a part of a non-denominational church, non-denominational Christian church in Albany, and we would come together regularly and we would pray for the community, the politicians, for the schools, for the parents. We would really pray. And we prayed because we loved our community and we wanted the best for them and we wanted to equip them. So there are people who are rooting for you and want the best for you, and you might not even know that they exist, But trust and believe me, they are there. And they want you to succeed. And they want you to. So now, again, because we loved our community, had people that loved them and they didn't know. And part of the people, Celie didn't know who loved her was her dead father, her past father, who is now an ancestor. So the ancestors, you want to get in contact with your ancestors, shameless plug, fill out that Google form and make an appointment for, fill out that Google form and I'll be contacting you for an appointment for a spiritual hypnosis section. And you can meet your ancestors, get some information. So now she has all this land. Celie has all this land. We're still in the same scene. Have all this land. And she's realizing she has the land, she has the store, she has property. And she said, and she's looking in the mirror and she said, what am I going to do? Because she's never had anything. Everything she had, her husband gave her. And she said, what am I going to do? As clear as day, she looked in the mirror and she saw her mother's reflection. And her mother spoke into her ear. And her mother gave her that memory of soul. And it was so her mother told her to sow. Remember the gift that you have. Your gift will make room for you. Sow. That's what her mother said. Her mother gave her that memory when she was teaching her how to sow. And especially that time when she pricked her finger, because that gift sometimes hurt a little bit, but you got to keep on doing it. So she gave her that memory. And then she just laughed and she cried. And it was that at that moment when Celie realized, I'm going to sow and I'm going to sell what I sow, make this money. So part of the things that I do when I do my spiritual hypnosis questions, I do for entrepreneurs, is that if you have a business plan, well, you should have a business plan and business goals if you own a business. You can ask the ancestors, you can ask your spirit guides on how to move throughout your business during a session. So again, another shameless plug, if you want to grow your business and you want help from your higher self or the higher side or the astral realm in building your business, then contact me. Fill out that Google form. So her mother's reflection gave her the answers. So it showed her what to do. Our ancestors want to help us. They want to tell us, help us to do what we need to do. They want us to go into our purpose. So when we ask, she asks and they answer. So you gotta ask. You gotta fill out that Google form and then you gotta ask and you'll get the answer. So now, by this time, Mr. is starting to redeem himself. He's not liking how things are going in his life. He's not, it's finally, sometimes when you're in a drunken stupor, you always stay kind of drunk. In between the drunks, you kind of sober up a little bit. In between the sobering, sometimes you can have a little bit of a light bulb. So he started to kind of, in between his drunken supers, he has a sober moment. And he's not liking the way his life is looking. And he wants to redeem himself. And so he goes by and he visits Harpo's bar, juke joint, and he's all over himself. He's drunk and he's all over himself. And he says, and Harpo helps him out, helps him up, help him, because he's drunk. He says, I could have been, he said, the women used to go crazy for me. They used to be all over me. I was the best musician. I was so good. I could have even played in Suge's band. If I didn't have to run my daddy's land, I could have reigned. The way I played my guitar, I'm embellishing, but that's basically what he was saying. He's looking over his life and he's having those regrets because he did not follow his dream, because he followed the dream of his father by working his father's land. So he said, I even could have been in Suge's band if I wanted to. And Harpo wanted to do music. Harpo didn't want to work no land. His heart was in the music. His love was in the music. His gift was in his music and playing a guitar. And that's one of the reasons that I believe that he loved Suge so much, because Suge said, I love my music. I'm doing my music. I'm singing my music the way I want to sing it. And her father, Suge's father, was a preacher. He didn't want her singing her music. He wanted her to sing Luke. He wanted her to sing gospel. but Suge wanted to sing the blues. Suge did what she wanted to do. Suge stood up to her father and lived her life. Well, Harpo did. So that's one of the things that pointed like, and I think that's kind of what bonded them together and why he loved her so much. I don't think she loved him as much as he loved her because she didn't marry her. She married somebody else. Well, Harpo was just Mr. Sorry, Mr. Mr. was so in love with Suge, So yeah, so I think that's why Mr. was so in love with Suge because Suge sang and she wanted to sing and she lived out her dreams the way she wanted to and she stood up to her father where Mr. did not stand up to her. So now Mr. is trying to redeem himself, get his stuff together. And again, I don't know if I mentioned it, but that he's in Africa with um with Cenie's children. And so Mr. makes an appointment with immigration to try and get Nettie and Cenie's children back and all these things. So now, again, Mr. is trying to redeem himself and reckon himself. So he grabbed all the things around the house that belonged to Celie that she found that was precious to her. And those things were her baby's rattle and a picture of Suge and her sister's hat. He put all these things together and he goes by the shop because now Celie opened a clothing store. Land, well, she had the store. She opened the store. So he puts all these things together and he goes to visit her. So now pay attention to that. He grabbed all the things that were special to Celie, the things that he knew she loved that would move her heart, and he brought them to her. And he also supported her business by buying a pair of pants. He knew what he needed to do to get right in her eyes because the curse had to be lifted. He had to get this curse lifted. So he had to bring her the things that were important to her to move her heart so that the curse could be lifted. And again, there was the baby's rattle that she had, a picture of Suge and her sister's hat and some other news. And he supported her business. So he didn't just do one thing. He went into her psyche. He didn't say, when people apologize and they be like, oh, here's some flowers. Sometimes ladies don't even like flowers. What is going to move that woman for her to forgive you? You got to think, you got to lose your brain. So that's what Mr. did. He brought all these things over to the store to make amends, to hopefully redeem himself with Celie. So Celie entertains him. He talks to him, and he buys the pants on the way out. And because Mr.'s lonely, he says, maybe we could go out. Basically, ask her out on a date. And her heart is moved. Her heart is moved. Maybe we can just. So she didn't take him back. She didn't return to her own vomit. She forgave him, but she kept that boundary up. So you can forgive, just keep the boundaries up so that you keep yourself protected. That's all. So now, at this time, Duke Avery is back into town, and her father is at the church. Her father, who's the pastor, he's at the church, and he's playing the piano, and he's playing his song, God is trying to tell you. And most people, if you grew up Southern Baptist or in any black church, most people who is a soloist or not, they have a signature song. So that was Suge's signature song. And that was the song that brought Suge and her father together and said, God is trying to tell you something. So her father is playing that song, he's playing the piano, and Suge comes in and walks in, and they start singing together. And he tries to stop playing and singing, but Suge continues to sing louder and stronger and tells him to go continue to sing. Our father surrenders and continues to play the piano, and then they sing together. They make up. They forgive each other. They love each other. The portal of love is opened back up. And to me, it showed the importance of music and how music is very healing and music is very nurturing and it brings people together. Music is a healing agent, and that's part of that. So now, fast forward again, it is Easter, Easter dinner, and now Celie has all this property, and on this property is this big, beautiful, weeping willow tree. All these trees. Chairs are set up around the tree for Easter dinner, and everybody is invited. Celie even invited Harper. So they're having dinner around the table. Sugar's there, Harper's there, all around the tree, not the table. They have tables around the tree. They're all together so that they can eat dinner. And all of a sudden, a car pulls up, and in that car, the Easter dinner is food, is feast all over the place. All of a sudden, a fancy car pulls up, and Celie wonders who that is. And Mister says, I bought something for you. Got something for you, surprise for you. Invited some more guests. And Celia ain't saying, I ain't got enough food for all these people. Who else you invited? You ain't asked if you to invite nobody. Celia ain't saying that. She said, y'all make room. Make room for the people that are coming. And so as they step out into the car, as the guests step out, she realizes, and then she is reunited with her sister. By then, I'm just going to fast forward. If they were teenagers, or young teenagers, they probably were separated for 50 years because now they're old and elderly and grim. So they didn't see each other ever. And it took them a while to recognize each other, but it was real. And they never, never stopped loving each other, even though they were older. Nettie said, I feel young. I feel so young because I'm with my sister. And that's what memories do. Memories time travel. Take time. So she said, I feel young. And then at that time, they embrace. And then Betty introduces Celie to her grandchildren, to her children, and then to her grandchildren. And then they are all beautiful, beautiful weeping willow tree. They sing the outro song of the song. And so it makes me think about Roots, the movie Roots, and the tree and what the tree represents. So they're all around the tree, the big weeping willow tree. They're all reunited, and Celie's there, Celie's grandchildren is there, and Celie's children is there, and Celie is there. So each generation was represented around the tree. Around the tree, what's represented was the past, which is the ancestor, the present was Celie and her sister, and the future, the children and her grandchildren. And each generation, each part is very, very, very important. The past, which are the ancestors, the present, which are us, our generation, those who are here now, and the future, which are the children, which are the babies, and those who are yet to come. All those pieces are important. And then Celie says, I am home. I am home. I am home. And so, where is home to you? And it made me think about where is home? Where is home? For me, I'm building a home. I'm saving to build a home. And where is home to you? And when I thought about the movie, home is togetherness. Home is peace. Wherever there is a place where you don't feel fragmented, everything comes together. So where is home to you? Where are you most at peace? Is it when you're working in your gifts, your spiritual gifts? Is it when you're with your family? Is it when you're working on your music or your art craft, whatever gifts that you have? Where is home to you? And home is where there is a cohesive junction, in my opinion. And it's a place of love and it's a place of comfortability. And every part of home is important. Past, which are our ancestors, the present, which are us, and the future, which are the children who are coming right now, here to come. And so we're all together, and then they sang a song. They sang the song around the tree. They all did. There's a part in the song that says, "Your heartbeat makes my heart beat." And I think about how when I had my daughter, she's 31 now, when she was a baby, when I would put her to sleep, the things that helped put her to sleep, I would lay her on my chest. And the nurses would say it's because heartbeat, the heartbeat is a rhythm, rhythm relaxes. So where does your heart beat? Where does your heartbeat? And so now I'm going to say that's all my notes that I have from the colorful. What do you think? I touched on a lot of things. I touched on ancestors. Um, I touched on the mysteries of God. I touched on portals. Mirrors are portals. And again, our words are more important, are so much more important than we realize. Watch what we say, because words can be blessings and curses. And sometimes when life gives us a bunch of poo, you have to hang in there because that the blessings may be on the other end. I know for me, I did not have the best upbringing. I'm not going to compare it to Celia, the color purple, but I have not had the best upbringing. I was in foster care, abuse, things of that nature, domestic violence when I was married. But this part of my life is becoming so much more full of joy. But had I listened to those negative thoughts, I might not be here to see what was available to me in the future. So those are my notes from the color purple. So please, 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 please comment below. This is Miss B, the goddess of empathy. The name is for you, but the title is for me. You can just call me Miss B. I'm a spiritual hypnotherapist. And if you are interested in a session, fill out the link. Click that link in the bio and fill it out, and I'll be in contact with you. Peace and blessings. God bless.